Another Monday Mindset. Hopefully you guys are doing well. I know a ton of you are probably at Medicarians. Just give it a second for people to get notified here as we are going live. But I know Medicarians starts this week. It actually starts today and is in the next couple days in Vegas. I wish I was there. I'm going to be out in Phoenix, Arizona. I think I've shared before on this Monday Mindset. I have a business that I am trying to buy right now, and we're in the midst of kind of due diligence and negotiation and all that good stuff. So I'm going to be out in Arizona, and I am sad to miss Medicarians. So many great friends out there. John Terry's out there. I know Alex Branning's out there with Agent CRM. Shout out to Alex. Go stop by his booth. I think he's close to Reminder Media. I think he's on the other side of where our booth is at. So 367 is our booth. If you are at Medicarians this week, stop by, say hello to Hayden, Nauma, and Marcy. They are working our booth out there. So many great partners at Medicarians, and just appreciate all of you guys. Today I want to talk, I was in Phoenix actually last week as well, speaking at a conference and to a bunch of real estate agents, and I was sharing with them a piece of kind of the success in business that I've had that I feel like so many people don't realize within business. It's almost like they overthink, they get paralysis by analysis. They think there is some way that they should be doing things that is more like you need better intelligence for. There's some secret. We all know this whole idea of chasing the shiny object, the magic bullet, but that doesn't exist. There is literally no magic bullet in business, and the higher and higher levels you get in business and the more successful people that you tend to meet in business, you realize that they actually speak in simplicity. It's almost the KISS acronym, keep it simple, stupid, meaning they don't overcomplicate things. And more importantly, what I have found, and this has been my kind of 3-step process to success in business, and I've built Reminder Media, but we've built a real estate company, a mortgage company, a property management company, an investment portfolio. And then inside of Reminder Media, we have multiple businesses within our business. So it's kind of like getting into startup mode again every time we start a new business unit within Reminder Media. And the 3 things I always challenge the team, and I want to challenge you today, wherever you're at in your business, is that maybe you're not having the success that you need to. And the reality of business is this: in order to be successful, you need to act, track, and pivot. Act, track, and pivot. Most people, they try to analyze and track before they act, which makes sense. In fact, there was a whole book written on this idea of ready, fire, aim versus aim before you fire. So ready, aim, fire. He wrote a book called Ready, Fire, Aim, and this was a guy that built multiple $50 million businesses. And he was saying the same thing that essentially I have learned as well, which is most people, they spend so much time getting ready, so much time aiming, trying to decide exactly where they should go, and they miss out on all this opportunity because they don't realize that there's so much that is in theory sounds good, feels like it should be right, but in practicality, the nuance of how business works, human relationships work, that it isn't actually what you thought it was going to be, even if the data told you that. And the best way to figure this out is you actually have to take action, because in the action, in the actual doing of the work, this is where you find out what actually works and doesn't work. And so the key is you got to act, then track your results based upon your action, and you can't improve what you don't measure, so you're tracking so you can improve, and then you pivot. And you just get used to this cycle of, look, I'm going to take massive action, I'm going to push as hard as I can, I'm going to track what I'm doing so I can then analyze that business and I can pivot, because you're definitely going to need to pivot. Business is just constant iteration. And this actually applies to leadership too. That I have found that the greatest leaders, we call it servant leadership, but they get in the trench with their people. And the reason why it's called servant leadership and you need to get in the trench is not just because it earns the respect of your people. That's a good thing that people see you working hard, but that's actually not the important part. The important part of servant leadership is when you get in the trench and you're actually digging alongside your people, you get the real data. You get the real feedback. You don't get what's called whisper down the lane feedback, because what happens in any organization is as you grow an organization and you get people under you and they have people under them, you get this telephone game, you get this whisper by the lane, down the lane where things change. And then if you think about incentives, like Charlie Munger said this, he said all failures in business track back to a misalignment in incentives. So if you think about a hierarchy strategy of like building out a team, this person down here wants to impress the person above them, and this person wants to impress the person above them. So they naturally have a bias towards leaning to sharing data that is maybe not the full picture, where it's to impress the person above them. And just naturally, this is what happens. And so if you're not down at the detail level in the trench with the people, you're going to get a more flowery view of what's actually happening in your organization. And if you study Elon Musk is a master at this, man. He runs the biggest companies in the world. And where does he spend his time? He's spending his time in the actual work, calling the people who are doing the work, because he wants to get as close to the work as possible. Because when you're a servant leader, you're getting in, you're doing the work, and you're realizing, to expand on this trench analogy, if you guys are digging with shovels and you're digging this trench and all of a sudden you hit bedrock, you're going to realize right away, if you're in the trench digging, that it's not an effort problem, that you actually have the wrong tool. But if you're up here in the ivory tower and you're not taking action, you're not getting in the trench, then you're never going to realize fully that, hey, you hit bedrock, you have the wrong tool. And unless you've empowered your people, which most people, we struggle with this, you've empowered your people to have a voice up, you're going to think maybe it's an effort problem, maybe you need more manpower, whatever it is. And you don't realize that, oh, no, you need a pickaxe, you need a drill, you need a different tool set. But if you're in the trench and you're doing the work right alongside your people and you're managing the work, not just the people, you will find real fast, ooh, we have the wrong tool. And this is the key to great leadership, at least I have found, is that leaders get in, they take action. They don't do, like, if you're going to get in and train a sales team, it's not like you're getting in and doing 300 calls like your sales rep beside you. You're getting in and you're doing 10, 20, 30 calls. Because in those 10, 20, 30 calls, you're going to learn immediately what is practical and what you've provided for them, and tools and demos and slide decks and collateral, and what is impractical. But if you sit up here on high and you never get in and make those 10, 20, 30 calls, you're not going to get that data feedback. So I just want to challenge you today that goes, hey, you know, one of the things that you have to do in this business, you have to take massive action, and that is what will get you the feedback, so you can track that, so you can then pivot. And then you get comfortable in this constant loop of pivoting. What you have to, or at least for me, what I have come to learn in business is that, Luke, you always have to be in a state of pivoting, a state of change, where change becomes a good thing. Pivoting becomes a good thing. It's like iteration in software development. You put out a piece of software, it's not fully perfect, it has some bugs. It's called MVP, minimal viable product. So then you can get market feedback and actually adjust and add to the product, fix some of the bugs based upon the market feedback. Most of us get this wrong when we're new in business, because we try to start at the end building the perfect product. We try to start at the end thinking of the perfect strategy, the perfect marketing piece, the perfect idea, and perfect doesn't exist. You have to take massive action, get the results, track those results, and then pivot. So that is what I shared last week in Phoenix, Arizona. It seemed to resonate with that audience a ton, because I think we just overthink. Two things I've seen is that we overthink what we should be doing, where it's the basics. Think about what you're selling. You have insurance products that are helping people. How do you get out there and find the people that you're supposed to help? And that is just a massive amount of activity. Most people overthink it, and they constantly overthink the strategies and what they're trying to do, and they don't realize, hey, it's actually simple. Just get out there and talk to people, boil it down to conversations that you're having, take massive action on that, and then get yourself tools and people that give you leverage to do more of the basics. That's really scaling a business. It's like, do the basics, get people and systems to help you do more of the basics at scale. And then the other thing that I see that people all the time just underestimate is how much activity it takes to, and energy and intensity it takes to get something done and to get scale. Most of us just severely underestimate. We make 50 calls and we feel proud when you should have made 500 calls. Like, we just severely underestimate the amount of work it takes to get something done, and the amount of intensity and focus you have to stay on something to see it all the way through. And this is why you have that famous kind of, analogy that people leave right before they're about to strike gold. They're literally, you've seen the little pictures where they're digging and digging and they quit right before they strike gold. And it's because they severely underestimate the amount of activity and force and intensity that you have to put in something. So hopefully you guys are having an incredible Monday. Again, if you're at Medicarian, stop by our booth 367. Come say hello to Naima, Hayden, Marcy. They will treat you well. We also have some great promos going on. But I know there's thousands of agents. I think they said like 6,000 to 7,000 in the Medicare space gathering in Vegas right now. I am bummed out. I have FOMO missing it. But wish me luck on this business deal that I'm trying to accomplish. This is going to be huge for our clients if we can get this deal closed. It's going to be an amazing product set added to our suite of tools at Reminder Media. Appreciate you guys. Get out there and win for you, for your family, for your clients. Have a blast this week. Go make it happen. Act, track, pivot. Appreciate you guys. See ya.